Things been changing for me, or am I just insane? Relive the same old story, but the ending's still the same.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Takes. I am here with Nico Davis. We just had 3 incredible futon sessions with him. Great takes, great tracks. Nico, thank you so much for coming on. I almost called you the name of someone who came out like 3 weeks ago.
Thank you for having me.
So Nico, what were the 3 songs again? Just remind me, please.
I did Dream of Us, my most recent single, Cross Your Mind, and Meant to Be. They were 3 great songs. It felt like there was like a little bit of a theme. Like you write a lot about like love and heartbreak and things like that, right? Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. What do you feel like a lot of your inspiration with those songs is? Do you feel like there's specific inspiration? Do you always have to have an unfortunate circumstance to write a song, or do you feel like you're able to kind of just come up with the ideas?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. It's like kind of whenever inspiration hits you, it hits you.
Yeah.
I feel it because, like, I'll give an example. Meant to Be, I wrote after I got a rejection letter from a job I had applied to months before I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote it back in, I want to say September or October.
Mm-hmm.
Played it for the first time Halloween weekend in Philly. Shout out to The Fire in Fishtown.
Shout out Fire.
So I kind of feel like it's a mix of stuff where it's like you kind of pull from specific things that happen to you, or just kind of tell a story with the song where it's like, I'm blanking on like what I'm trying to say, but
No, you're good.
I don't necessarily have like specific let me rephrase that. When I get inspiration for songs, it's not necessarily just from like one specific experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a mix of things that happen where it's like it kind of evokes a similar feeling, if that makes any sense.
I think I get it. Yeah, because the Meant to Be, it very much felt like it was supposed to be like a one-on-one conversation, but
Yeah.
the whole idea of it being about a job rejection and just like life, like whatever's happening is meant to be, that meaning in it, I think makes it double layered, and you can even see how a listener gets what they need to get out of it, but what you got out of writing it could be a completely different experience.
Yeah. And that one in particular, my pop had a saying he would use. He passed away in November 2022 of if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, if like something unfortunate kind of happens. And my brother, after he passed, for the longest time, like our parents would just kibosh tattoos. My mom's not super happy about it even still, but it's from my pop. He got a tattoo of if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So that's kind of my own way of pulling from that. And yeah.
That's a good phrase to have, honestly, in life. I love that.
Exactly.
I love the story behind some of these songs, because I've had other artists give the story behind their song, and it was not what I would have guessed. And just hearing how everyone goes about their creativity is really cool.
Yeah, it's like you never really know how people are gonna take in your song. Because I had somebody that I've known for a long time of like doing shows reach out to me from like back in, I want to say August or September, about a song I'd put out, where she was like, she told me that it had helped her out through something, and it's like I wasn't even expecting that to like help people, but it's interesting hearing how people interpret your own stuff, or hearing how the person that made it would have interpreted it. Because I feel like ideas are always just something that kind of gets out there, and then you kind of make of it what you will after the fact of already creating it. I kind of feel like ideas are something that come to you rather than something you come up with on your own.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So the best ideas come from inspiration rather than just seeking out just to write a song, kind of, I think is what you're saying.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's always nice hearing about your work affecting someone else that deeply and helping them through a situation that you yourself may even be able to empathize with because you know how difficult that struggle could be. Do you feel like you've ever had a song like that?
From another artist?
Yeah.
I've got a couple. I had. It's probably cliche at this point, but one of my favorite artists is James Blake, and that's one of the most common kind of comparisons I get to my sound as an artist. His song, Lindisfarne, off his first album, and Can't Believe the Way We Flow kind of have that same feeling to me, where it's like it has like kind of an impactful kind of thing, where it's like they're both kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of like how they approach like singing about a relationship. Like Lindisfarne, he wrote about a breakup, and Can't Believe the Way We Flow, and the entire Assume Form record was about I want to say his girlfriend now that he's been with for like 9 or 10 years. She was on The Good Place, but just the performance, and then also just like the simplicity of the lyrics, where it was like the one line, nothing makes a sound when you are around, you are my fear of death. It's like that line, even if it's kind of like, I don't want to say non sequitur, but it's like it's very vague, but also like very vulnerable at the same time, which I really like about James Blake's writing. Others, I'm a big Frank Ocean fan as well, and I feel like Ivy off of Blonde is one of the most cathartic songs of the last couple years. Like that, like the way he uses dynamics in that song as well, just like and especially near the end where he's like almost screaming and the vocal almost distorts a little bit. Gives me chills every time I hear it.
Yeah. You feel that emotion coming through with the distortion, kind of.
Exactly.
Like you just feel them pouring out on it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And it works too at the end with him smashing the guitar. Once the song kind of wraps up.
That's funny. I'm going to have to look that up because I don't think I'm very familiar with that. I'm not very familiar with most Frank Ocean. I know I have liked what I've heard. I just haven't gone out searching for a lot of his stuff. But I liked what you said about you were talking about him right before Frank Ocean. James Blake. What you said about being vague with your lyrics, but also being very intentional and raw.
Yeah.
It's those two descriptions I feel like are not very. It's not always common to hear someone be able to say that about lyrics, because normally if you're going vague, it's kind of like you're just fishing for a reaction and just fishing for anyone to be able to relate to your music so that it's more marketable in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you have Bo Burnham made that one video about like describing a girl in the most vague way possible, using all descriptions just to be able to market it to like thousands upon millions of teenage girls. But sometimes when you don't get too specific, but you're also able to get raw, like you were saying, it can market to people, but it also just helps it relate to people. Because sometimes you want to pour your heart out, but you don't want to put like, on this date this happened and I cried.
You don't want to
like,
be too specific.
Yeah, because there is still some personal privacy in it.
Yeah.
But being able to be vague while having that emotion is kind of a talent in itself.
Yeah. I feel like pretty much everything in terms of, even if it's authentic, there's still kind of a manufactured authenticity to it, that you kind of know like what to reveal, what not to, whether it be just because in terms of thematic structure or like how a song is supposed to play out, or just for your own kind of boundary with yourself and your audience. Plus, anything that kind of has like the feeling of being authentic is so much more valuable in a world where everything's kind of fake, artificial, and pretty much everybody's kind of like ironic, or they just kind of say things without any heart to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think sincerity as an artist is kind of I feel like a lot of times people use it as like an empty platitude of like, you need to be more sincere with your music, but a lot of times people just kind of copy whatever the new topic of a song is, or like a topic of a song just to be relatable, or a sound that's popular at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see that in a lot of music, a lot of pop music, but that's something that even some artists have started talking about in their interviews. Fans don't want this current generation, and these fans don't want the manufactured. If there's not a raw relatableness to it that they can grasp, they don't want it. That's why you see a lot of rise in a lot of indie artists, and even just the TikTok artists, because TikTok is about constantly uploading everything that's going on in your day.
Yeah.
Where even if it is manufactured, it feels real because people are seeing you every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they feel like it's real, and that's why even just TikTok artist type people have been like going crazy on the charts.
Or it's like, I don't know if you saw the one clip of that lady that was singing that. Like, there's this one lady, it was like the worst camera quality possible.
Mm-hmm.
She was, I think she might have been on live, but she had a guitar. It was like on her lap. She was strumming it. It was like only a couple chords. She was using a credit card as a pick. And it was an AI. The song she was covering was an AI SpongeBob rap song.
I think I know which lady you're talking about. Yeah.
You know the crab like money. You know the sponge likes fun. And it's like, I think she might have gotten like a couple 100 million views just off of that.
I remember seeing that.
she went all in with it, and she was, even if it's just like some AI rap song, she put a million times more effort into it than the person that wrote it. It went somewhere, because even if it's like kind of a silly concept, taking like a SpongeBob rap song and making it into like an acoustic punk kind of thing, it still worked because she sold it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember even seeing her talking in another video like a week after, and just hearing the difference in her voice confused me, because I was like, is that the same lady? Because she has so much grit in her voice in the video, but then when she talks, it's the smoothest, like, calm voice ever. I was like, who's talking to me right now? But that's true. It's all about what you can sell into it. And I like that with a lot of with the three that we heard, like, you could tell you were into your songs. It was fun to watch you like lose yourself in playing and putting the song together live with the loop. Which the loop itself, that was really cool. The way you were running everything. Run me through your setup real quick. You were running the keyboard and the pad, but what did you have?
So this setup is ever evolving. I started using it back in November at a show I played at Art Album on Wissahickon. It was my MacBook. I had an Apollo, little cheap Alesis keyboard that is broken now, sadly.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And I was just playing the tracks with Ableton's Looper plugin. Mm-hmm. Now it's a lot more sophisticated. I have an Antelope Audio Zen Tour running to my headphones, and with a mic going in just to be able to hear myself. Tonight I was using a Prophet Rev 2 as the keyboard, but I might be switching that out for like a MIDI keyboard, just because I don't really feel comfortable taking that out. And to loop everything, I have an Ableton Push 2 controlling the session view, which was the newest purchase. And even though it's an older model, I think it came out in like 2015 2014, 2015, it is amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I went doing these shows this long without it, because it makes my life so much easier as a performer.
That's cool.
But I kind of think with the looper setup, I like the unpredictability of it, where it's like I kind of improvise all of the parts, and one show that I play, the arrangement's going to be different than another. I
Yeah.
think this year, once the album that I'm working on is done, I want to do a live record where it's like all of my tracks that I play live, and I pull them from different shows depending on like what kind of arrangement I like best. Like if I play, I don't know, South Jersey, and I pull an arrangement from Cherry, that might be the version that I keep for the live album, or one that I play up north in North Jersey might be different than somewhere else for like Light Your Fire or something.
Yeah.
So you were saying?
I was just gonna contribute to that because I've had another loop artist on a while ago. His name is Koopa Loop. He does looping with his bass, and what you're saying is very true. Like it sounds different every time, and I think that's really cool because he did 3 songs on the Futon sessions, specifically this one, Bubbles, and then he released the official studio version. And the difference, I loved the Futon session version. I loved the studio version. It was just so different. It sounded so cool. I'm like, I see the vision in both, but the vision just pops out in different ways depending on the take. So what you're saying is really cool. Like doing a live set of songs that you've already put out and putting out live versions, I think would be insane for your listeners.
I think, and what's nice too is like it has its own energy to it, and it kind of forces you to lock in more on the song, where it's like, tying back to what I said about the lyrics, you're more intentional with like, oh, I'm going to put this bass line down, I'm going to put these drums on it. Like for the recording, the only pre-recorded parts that I had were the drums, just so that way I could put their own individual swing profiles, and then all the other parts I just had my headphones on to record in with the metronome.
That's awesome. Well, Nico, thank you so much for coming out and doing your set on the Futon sessions. Do you have anything coming up that people can be looking forward to? I know you had a single just drop recently. I think you said on Valentine's Day a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Which song was that again? It was
Dream of Us.
Dream of Us. So that was one of the ones you did tonight. And yeah, anything else coming up that you have planned for the future?
Probably more shows, and I have an album coming out on June 4th, and I should be putting together a show for that. It's kind of like a birthday show, release party type of thing, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, June 4th. Be watching. Stay tuned for that album. I'm sure it's going to be incredible. I'm excited to hear it. Nico, again, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to try to have links to everything about him that you can find down in the description. Linktree, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is that he has, I'm going to try and have for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Leave any comments for Nico that you have. Maybe you have a question about looping and he can answer it for you. We'll find out. But until next time, guys.